Arr! This be your old piratical pal, Sharky, from the Neverland Pirate Band and Jake and the Neverland Pirates. Mateys, by thunder, you've just rowed your boat to In Conversation with ATF, Amber the Fangirl. So yo-ho, let's go!
Ba 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 boo, let's go.
Hi everyone, Amber here. Welcome back to In Conversation with ATF. My guest today is a composer, a voice actor, a king. He as someone else who is also on the autism ADHD spectrum. Oh, I salute this guy way too much. Right, I gotta tell you about him. Okay, so for voiceover wise, you may know him as the voice of Sharky and Sandy the Starfish and many other incidental characters like a Tiki Tree, Yo-Yo, Peppino, the Treasure Wishing Well in Jake and the Neverland Pirates. And he also and he was also in the Neverland Pirate Band. So like he was at the end of every episode. He's literally Sharky in real life. I kid you not. I kid you not. It's uncanny. Now that's one of my questions, but we'll get to that in a bit.
Okay.
But you might also know him as well. He is Captain Bogg and Salty. He literally is. But he did that before Jake and the Neverland Pirates, so we'll get into that as well. He's also voiced. Now I'm going deep down into this because I do.
Okay, all right.
As always, Black Baron in Sly 3: Honor Among Thieves.
That's right.
That's really interesting to me because we definitely got to talk about that. Also voiced Scully and Bucky in Jake's Team Pirate, the pilot for Jake and the Neverland Pirates.
Oh, right.
We're all scraping the barrel there, aren't we?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's back when Bucky could talk.
Yeah. I did watch the pilot the other day and I was thinking, wow, it makes you wonder what sort of inspired them to go in this different direction. Mm-hmm. My guest has also composed for shows such as Playdate with Winnie the Pooh, Mickey Mouse Funhouse, Minnie's Bow-Toons, Mickey and the Road to Races, and also Mixed Up Adventures, and also Trollstopia. And basically, he's been doing everything for as long as I've been alive, which is, I'd say, nearly 21 years, which is, considering, like, my profile picture is literally a baby face. Yeah.
Nice.
My guest is Loren Hoskins.
Hi.
Hello. No, first of all, I am flattered. They don't call me Amber the Fangirl for a reason because my 15-year-old self is screaming on the inside right now. I'm just like freaking out. The sirens going off. I'm thinking, wow, this is actually happening. Thank you. Thank you for everything.
Thank you. No, I appreciate it. Thanks for reaching out.
You're welcome. So, Loren, I've got to ask you now. I'm going to take it. We're going to try and do this in chronological order. I want to take it all the way back to the beginning of your career. Now, this isn't like a serious interview where I just chuck questions at you. It's more of a conversation. So, I just really want to know. Nice mug.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, is that a dog? It's a dog. Oh.
Yeah, it's for the Powell's bookstore here in Portland.
That's
awesome. City of books. Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh, I need to get up to Oregon. There's so much stuff. Like there's people there I want to visit. There's places there I want to go. There's just a huge list. But yeah, I presume you grew up in Portland, Oregon. What was it like sort of growing up and did you know what you wanted to be when you were younger, as in occupation-wise?
You know, that's funny. No, I wanted to be a marine biologist. But that's because I wanted to play with dolphins. But no, I didn't know, and I rarely did. I just kind of bumped along where things took me. Mm-hmm. And then I grew up outside of Portland in a little suburb called Hillsboro. Mm-hmm. I know what started it. Your research did it turn up my job in Southern California?
I think it did. Yes, you were a former. If I remember correctly, Jungle Cruise skipper, former skipper on the Jungle Cruise. I knew that was looking in my head. I was thinking,
I think that launched my possibilities. I was 16. I was at the time I was the second youngest Jungle Cruise skipper in history, they told me.
Wow.
Because I was still in high school in Portland, and I auditioned at they had this like college day thing. And I made it through all the college rounds, and then they said, "Great. So, what college do you go to?" I was like, "I'm still in high school." And they're like, "What?" and they said, okay, well, you can come down and audition in
Hmm.
person,
Yeah.
but it's kind of a big deal. You're 16. I went down and I gave it my best, and they said it was great. The way the woman, I can't remember what her Jennifer, the way she said it, she's like, Lauren, I really want to thank you for coming down, and I really appreciate your enthusiasm, your energy. But the Jungle Cruise is a important attraction, and the skipper has to make that connection and make the attraction. So it's not something we hand over to just anybody. So welcome aboard. And then she gave me this package. I was like, so
Wow.
I did my junior year of high school, and then I went and spent the summer and did Jungle Cruise for the summer,
Hmm.
and then came back and finished high school. So I think that kind of jump started like the possibilities in, like, wait, I can perform, I can do this stuff. And I'm big love for Disney growing up, big. My favorite movie is Treasure Island with Robert Newton, and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea with James Mason. And so I was just chasing a Disney dream for the longest time.
Hmm.
And yeah, it kept returning. So
Yeah, I was gonna say because then obviously Disney came along a good few years later to get
yeah,
you and Kevin
yep,
on Jake and Neverland Pirates.
yeah.
Now, I've got to ask, what sort of inspired you? Was it you and Kevin who came up with the idea? Kevin Hendrickson, by the way, for those wondering.
Kevin Hendrickson,
Um,
yes, my
for,
good friend and
what
partner.
what what inspired you to make a band about pirates? Like,
Pirate
was
rock
it
band.
a pirate rock band? Yeah. What was it?
Yeah,
Your idea? Was it both of you? Was it both of your
it was
ideas?
it was both. So okay, the Wayback Machine is set to
Oh,
1996, maybe 96. And so I had a sketch comedy group here in Portland called The Third Floor.
yeah.
Shout out The Third Floor. Um, and it was just a crazy sketch comedy group. Mostly college
Hmm.
students would come, but we got, pretty popular. And we would go to this bar all the time after shows. And there
Yeah.
was a band that used to play every now and then at this bar called Pirate Jenny. Now, Pirate
Hmm.
Jenny is a rock band that kind of pretends to be pirates, like a little bit. Like they kind of half dress up or whatever, but the music was awesome. I
Yeah.
loved it. I was one of their big fans, but
Hmm.
it was not PG, some of the lyrics and stuff like that. Like you couldn't hand the album to a kid. So Kevin and I became mutual friends. It turns out he was a fan of The Third Floor and I was a fan of Pirate Jenny. So we got to talking, and one day I pitched to him over a grilled cheese sandwich. I said, what if, because Pirate Jenny is a rock band pretending to be pirates, right? Yeah. What if we were a group of pirates pretending to be a rock band? Just we go a little bit more all in on the pirate part,
Hmm.
and we make it for all ages, and let's just go for it. And so we did. I think we made the first album for 3 grand, just kind of scraped some stuff together
Hmm.
and made an album of tales and tunes for Buccaneers of all ages.
Ooh.
And we thought that would be it, that we just make an album. Like I'm doing the voice of Captain Bogg and Salty on the album.
Hmm.
Kevin's playing all the instruments.
Hmm.
Although we did have some other folks come in and help out. My
Yeah.
buddy Andy Lindbergh is on there, um, who was Lardass and Stand By Me. Side note. But yeah, we just made the album and it became popular and people said, "We want to see you guys perform." I was like, "We can't. It's two guys, like." So we started building I don't know, we just started throwing together a live situation that we could throw up every now and then. And it just gathered momentum and it became Captain Bog and Salty, this pirate rock band for all ages. And we would play, I mean, I don't know how many grade schools and libraries we've played, but we've also played pubs. We opened for Harvey Danger in New Jersey once. I mean,
Wow.
we did rock shows too, and they were pretty close. The There was a couple songs about mutiny that we would add to the adult shows, but it was still like I wanted to make sure that our shows were, and our music was cool for anybody. Like
Yeah.
if it was in Treasure Island, it was fair game. That was our rule. Um, but yeah, it was something we decided to do in a summertime. Let's make a pirate rock album for kids. Oh, and back then, kids' music was on red cassettes. There were no one took the time to put a CD together for kids. Like they wouldn't know how to work it or something. It was like that's
Yeah.
stupid. So let's make a CD. And so a lot of people thought we were stupid and like, why are you making CDs for children? And we're like, well, they're not just for children, for the whole crew. So anyway, I'm yakking there, but that's how it went. It just kind of snowballed into something.
It snowballed into something wonderful.
Uh,
Absolutely spectacular, spellbinding. What a lovely origin story. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. Origin
Origin
story
story, yes,
of
yeah.
Captain Bogg and Salty.
But
Um,
yeah, I couldn't have done it without Kevin and I, and you know, pirate festivals and you know, uh, crazy appearances and all this stuff. And, we did 4 albums of Captain Bog and Salty stuff. And
mhm.
it was awesome. And it paid I mean, selling t-shirts and bumper stickers and CDs and doing shows like 3, 4 times a week. That's how I paid the rent. And we did that until the economy went bust in
Fair
2008.
play.
And then
Ooh,
overnight, yeah. So that's the Great Recession, right?
yeah.
Overnight, like we had a little studio and everything where I would go
Hmm.
in the morning with my cup of coffee and see what orders did we get that day, and I would package CDs and send them all over the place. Treasure Island, the casino used to stock our album, and the Teach's Hole, the place where Blackbeard died, they used to stock our album, which I thought was so cool. But overnight, no one had any money to buy an album or book a pirate rock band, so we just closed up shop. And
Yeah.
it was a little sad, but it was 10 years was a good run, and we felt good about it, and that was it.
Yeah. I mean, I did watch the music video for Pieces of Eight before. For those wondering at home, it's the music video is basically it's a class in school and it's announced as a substitute teacher and in walks, well, who else? Lauren. I mean, Sharky. I mean, Captain Bog, anyone. I'm just thinking, oh my God, if Sharky walked into my classroom, I'd be like, whoa, whoa, hang on, whoa, 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 whoa. I would just be I would be going crazy off the walls, me, honestly. But like I know about the 2008 sort of like the economy crisis, but like I didn't realize how it affected people like including you. And like
Yeah,
I didn't realize how badly it affected people and just
yeah.
it makes you think. But there was a saving grace because Bob Scanaway was the first to contact you, I believe. Because he was working on a new series for the newly revamped Disney Junior, used to be Playhouse Disney. And well, Lauren, why don't you tell the story? You're better at telling stories than I am.
I don't know about that. Yeah, so we had closed up shop, Captain Bog and Salty. We were like, that was awesome. Boy, what a run, you know?
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, oh, and that video, by the way, that Pieces of Eight video, we those it's everybody in it is a fan, is a kid that would come. There's no actors in that. It's
Wow.
all kids that would come to our show, and we put out a call and said, "Hey, come and be in a pirate rock video, whatever." It was shot on film, and I used to be a PA, production assistant for like commercials and stuff in
Yeah.
Portland.
Hmm.
And so I knew a lot of the film companies in town. And so they have these things called short ends, which are just like leftover pieces of film. And I
Yeah.
would go and just beg for short ends. And we did that video, directed by Vance Malone. Um, and he did it for free. Everyone just did it for fun. And we just put it up online and went like that. And one day, Bob's Ganaway, a prolific creator and writer and producer at Disney, um, was working on this new show, and he just decided to type in pirate music one day because he wanted something to play in the background while he was writing. So he found our album on Amazon, a couple of our albums, and he ordered those.
Mhm.
And then he got the albums and he's listening to them. He's like, wow, this is fun. And then he started to kind of look us up and he found the Pieces of Eight video. And then he
Oh,
also found, yeah, he saw the Pieces of
wow.
Eight video. And then he was like, what are these? And then he looked us up and then he found a video that somebody took at the Aladdin Theater where there was like 200 kids. We used to call it the Fisher Price My First Mosh Pit. And yeah. So we had 200. I will take care of my mateys in the mosh pit, like, and kids
Yeah.
would jump up and down. So this video of like 200 kids just going nuts to Nelly the Elephant, which was our big Nelly the Elephant, packed the trunk and said goodbye to the
Back in the
circus.
circus.
Yeah.
So adorable.
And so he saw that video with 200 kids jumping up and down to a rock
Mhm.
band on stage. And he said, that they're already doing what I want to do. So this is where it gets crazy. You might not know this one. So we had closed up Bogg and Salty. It was done.
Mhm. Yeah.
Kevin got a job working for the mayor. He's just like, yeah, we
Oh.
weren't doing music anymore. I was like, what am I gonna do? I was like filling out resumes or sorry, applications for bagging groceries at Trader Joe's, whatever.
Yeah.
Just trying to move on. And one day I checked my email, and do you ever check the spam folder? Yeah, every once in
Yeah.
a while you're like, well, what's in the spam folder?
It says
So
one, and you're just thinking, oh, look at that. Oh, I've
yeah,
won a free vacuum cleaner. Oh, no, just get that out.
I could use one of those.
Me too.
One day I checked the spam filter, and there was an email from Jay Stutler, Vice President of Music at Walt Disney Television Animation,
Oh.
in the spam folder. And it said, hey, Loren, just a truncated version of what we already know. We have a guy that's creating a new pirate themed show. We would love to talk to your band about working on a theme song. Let us know if you're interested. Let me think about that. Yeah, but it was crazy to find it in the spam folder, and it had been sent the day before. So I caught it quick. But then I was freaked out about answering. I didn't know how to answer. And so I let another day go by.
Mhm.
And Jay and I have laughed about that before. He's just like, why did you wait so long? Like I was ready to move on, like so I wrote back and it was true. They were looking for a rock band to come up with a new, and it was at a time when nobody wanted to make music for cartoons. Like there wasn't a lot of love in it. And he saw something in us and said, "You know what? I'm going to train these guys to do music for animation." He just got us off the tree, instead of out of the
Yeah.
barrel.
Mm-hmm.
So it was awesome, but it goes on from there in crazy ways. But do you have another question, or should I keep going with that? Mm.
Keep going. Keep
Okay, all
going.
right. Just ramble bamble. Okay, so
I do that all the time. Trust me. If it makes you feel any better, Corey does that as well. Corey Benfo's wondering. He does that as well. We spoke for 6 hours 5 years ago. Yes! And I was like,
that's
whoa,
awesome.
hang on a second. And then one of his close friends was like to me, wow, he must have felt really comfortable with you because he's also autistic. And then just me also being autistic, we were both rambling on. I would ramble for 5 minutes. He would then ramble for 10 minutes. I'll be rambling again for five. It was so funny. But oh my gosh,
Corey,
it was.
I love Corey Burton, man, and he's just got so many stories, so many amazing moments like in his head. It's just it's awesome.
Yeah.
So anyway, and we can talk about Corey in a bit. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a subject I enjoy. Where was I? So oh, would you guys like to take a crack at this theme song?
Yeah.
Back then it was called Jake's Team Pirate.
Mhm.
And so we took a crack at it and sent it in, and he wrote back like, yeah, it was okay. It was pretty good. We kind of like what you did. Meh, meh. But they had notes, and we're like, yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll do another one. We did 17 versions of that song. Guess which one Amber, guess which one they picked?
The first version.
The first one. They went right. And he even apologized. He's like, I'm sorry, you guys were right all along. This is the way to go.
Do it for safety.
So
Do it for safety.
yeah.
Safety.
So So yeah, it went from so then suddenly, okay, you get the theme song, and we're like, yay, spike the ball, we win. And then he said, hey, uh, how would you guys like to do the underscore for the cartoon? We're like, we don't know how to do that. He's like, I will show you how. Just, but we're a rock band. It's like rock band scoring. That's fine. You and we're like, okay. And then they decided, well, let's write songs for the show. These guys couldn't write a song for every show. So in the very beginning of Jake and the Neverland Pirates, Sharky and Bones, originally called Stubble and Plank, but I don't know why they changed it. Stubble and Plank. I was supposed to be Stubble. Kevin was Plank. Yeah, Sharky and Bones. Uh, there was just one little song in every episode where Sharky and Bones were kind of making fun of Captain Hook. That
Yeah.
became the thing. So
Like a Greek chorus, sort of.
yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So we went from that to, hey, if they're writing the songs and doing the underscore, they should sing for the characters. And if they're doing that, let's audition them and see if they can play the part too. I got the opportunity to do the voice of Sharky as well as the singing voice. And then they decided on top of that, like, let's get people to watch the credits by putting a music video at the end, and we'll just have Kevin and Loren do the music video. So we went from just doing the theme song to
Mhm.
becoming fully entrenched in the show in a matter of like 2 weeks. It just kept going. It was nuts.
Like a big
They,
domino effect.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was like being pulled by a boat. It's like just hang on to the rope, just keep going. So, yeah, there's that. That's
But
what happened.
one thing I've got to ask now, and this is something I've always wondered. Of course, you were the speaking voice and singing voice for Sharky. Kevin is the singing voice of Bones, but Jeff Bennett actually does his voice in the show. Do you know exactly what the casting thing was behind that, or why
I
that
don't know.
happened?
Kevin is not he didn't have a lot of acting under his belt and wanted to focus on the music a bit more, I think.
Ah,
And
okay.
and Jeff Bennett was already doing the voice of Mr. Smee.
Mm-hmm.
And they get everyone for two characters, right?
Yeah.
When they book you. So they were like, well, Bennett can just do Bones too. So a lot of my voiceover career is listening to Corey and Jeff from long distance and then interacting with them,
Yeah.
thanks to the direction of Kelly Ward, like
Hmm.
best voice director I've ever worked with. So yeah, it was crazy. And we would be like, no joke, I'm not exaggerating, Amber, for the first 3 years, it was 7 days a week. It was 12 to 14 hours a day. And we were never
Wow.
done. We were never done. It was just like, how long can I go before I need to go to bed? Like there was so much to do to keep up with the animation schedule, especially for us, because we were new at all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, but so it was wild. We'd be going from Kevin and I would be doing vocals on a song, and then I would run and do a voiceover downtown, and then I come back, and then we would mix it. It was wild. And then the live action stuff too, the music videos and occasional just to get the show launched. There were several PR events that we showed up to, and I think we sang for uh, Tori Spelling and Mel B once at Radio Disney. We did like a,
Wow.
a private concert for them, which was weird. Everyone was like, what's going on? And they wouldn't let us set up any instruments either, like no drum kit or no plugged in guitar. So we just
Hmm.
would come out, Kevin on the acoustic guitar and me yo-hoing and stuff. It was crazy. Um, and then we would run home to Portland and then have too much work to do. It was cool because it felt kind of like Batman in a way. Like we would
Yeah.
just show up in LA for a couple of days and talk to all these people and then go away and then
Yeah.
immediately work. Yeah.
I was gonna say because it's next year it would have been 10 years since the show ended. So since the show ended, you obviously had time to put your feet back up and just relax and stuff. I was gonna say, what have you been doing since the show ended? You know.
Was Jake ended?
Yeah.
Well, then I started, um, they started putting me in on these other shows. I started help co-writing and swooping in to help with songs on what was the first one? Mixed up, no. Roadster Racers.
Roaster Races, yeah. So then it was
Mickey's
Mix Up
Roadster Racers.
Adventures. Yeah.
Yeah. It was Bo Black was doing the all the music and the songs, but he they thought that he could use some help with like comedy and characters.
Hmm.
My first assignment was to write a funny song about fishing with Goofy and Mickey. And so I just threw myself into it and and I can do a decent everybody on the show. Not a castable, not a castable Goofy, but for, enough for a demo so that you
Yeah.
get the right vibe, all the right stuff in there.
Hmm.
And so I think that I became kind of a go-to for like character-filled demos that are about the story or about, a moment of fun, whatever. So
Yeah.
I just kept answering the phone and it was, can you write this song? Can you write this song? And then I started joining up on all these shows. And then up until Mickey Mouse Funhouse, which I got uh we got that assignment in 2020,
Hmm.
right when the world closed down.
Hmm.
And I was grateful to have something to chew on at home. My life didn't change. I just went back to work in the studio. Um, but it was hard with everything going on to like write happy songs about dragons, like there was
Yeah.
a lot of hard stuff going on. But anyway,
Mm.
um, yeah, so I did that and that did 3 seasons and now we are here and now I'm figuring out what I'm doing. I do a stage show called E.R. Perkins Seance Party, which is a
Hmm.
theatrical seance party. It's kind of like it's comedy, it's a little bit of magic, it's storytelling, um, and it's kind of like Haunted Mansion live or something like that. But for adults, it's something Halloween for adults, and I've done that. I actually started doing that during Jake
Hmm.
for just to clear my brain of pirates. So it was like I rode pirates and then got off and then walked over to Haunted Mansion. That's kind of what I did. So, yeah, I'm still doing that and yet to see how far that can go. But it's kind of an in between as I kind of recalibrate
Yeah.
and think about it. So,
Hmm. Yeah, makes sense. Honestly, I mean, I've got to know now, of course. Did you ever talk about Haunted Mansion with Corey? Because he is the Christmas ghost host.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely. I love hearing Corey, all the time. You'll hear him somewhere and I'll be like, that's Corey Burton. Like, uh like he showed up in The Mandalorian doing the voice
he
of that
did.
that
Had
like Wild
Bane.
West guy. Yeah. I was like,
I
that's Corey Burton.
remember. I
You know, I was playing
remember.
yeah, I was playing Arkham City, and he's the voice of Dr. Hugo Strange. It's like, that's Corey Burton. So and you can hear there's this quality that he has that he shares with Paul Frees. And you can hear it every once in a while. So it's almost like the ghost toast is just floating everywhere. I just love it. Love it.
I
Except for when
know.
he does um I really loved writing songs for, I don't even know if they're out yet, but songs for Ludwig von Drake. I wrote we
Ooh.
wrote several of them just in the last season just for Corey to go off, and they were so much fun.
Wow.
So much fun. And yeah,
Awesome.
those should be out. Should be out soon. I don't know.
I was going to
I could
ask
play them
you.
for you, but I would get sued. So
Well, I mean, YouTube would take him down anyway,
okay, yeah.
even if you weren't allowed to. I think, because
Yeah.
I mean, I uploaded some the other day from Disneyland. It was literally like a piece of a ride, and it had soundtrack in the background, and it was like, nope, can't monetize. And I was like, oh, okay, then it was literally just like, I'd say not even 30 seconds of footage, and they were like, nope, nope, not monetizing, not at all
Yep.
money goes to whoever it made it. I'm like, okay. So yeah, they're very strict. But that was literally what I was gonna ask you regarding Corey. I was gonna ask let's talk about you, Jake, and the Neverland Pirates co-stars. So we're on about Corey now. Are you still in touch with Corey or anyone else from the show?
No, not really. I
That's
mean,
a shame.
Kevin is
Oh,
my good
Kevin.
friend, and
I was
we see each other all the time. Um,
awesome.
but and then when I come to town every now and then, I still, count Jay Stutler a friend, and the executive, the EP on the show, Rob LaDuca, and I'll say, "Hey, you got time for
Yeah.
lunch or whatever," and
Uh-huh.
that's really cool to do. But yeah, Corey and Jeff, I never really got to spend a lot of time with. Most of it was, you know, if they had a song to sing, I was directing.
Hmm.
So Corey had several songs as Captain Hook. So I would see, we'd go down and be there in person, or we'd do it when Zoom became available or whatever, then we would do it over the internet. But um, yeah, I think I only got to be in the booth with them once, and it was awesome. It was so cool. Like they set the booth up and put me in the middle, and then Corey and Jeff facing each other, and then they just had us kind of riff on all this stuff, and it was so much fun to do it for real and like look them in the eye and play around with it, and it was awesome. I love, Corey does this great like thing so he can, like you learn just watching him do voiceover.
I know.
He does this thing so he can hear himself, in a different way, and his body changes depending on what
Yeah.
that's awesome. It's awesome. So yeah, and he wrote me a lovely email at the end. Yeah, I wrote to him. He wrote me back, lovely email, and he was still like, they will certainly find that they need to put this show back on the air. So I will see you soon, that kind of thing. Uh, but yeah, it was just awesome. So that's kind of it as far as the
Mhm.
cast goes. I mean, a lot of the kids. How many rounds of kids do we have? Like,
I
do we
think
have
there
like
was, yeah, there was two easy voice actors, two cubby voice actors, and I believe three or four
three?
voice actors for Jake.
Yeah, and they were
That much
all
I know about the show.
yeah, exactly. Well done. Yeah, it was just, but again, it was such a blur on top of all of that. We'd get like 24 hours of intense Hollywood time, and then we would come back to all this underscore work to do, or, like make us a new album of songs before the next season so we can riff off the album and put it into the show. So it was just like, yeah, I don't even remember a lot of it. Let's be honest. It's just,
Honestly, goes so fast. It's such a
yeah.
blur, honestly. Yeah, I know how it feels. But yeah, because I was gonna say real quick, I did remember when I spoke to Corey a few years ago. I think it was during COVID, actually. He said he usually sees Kelly because they work together a lot of the time and stuff like that, and they always discuss that they want Jake to be rebooted and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And he has said in recent interviews that him and Kelly do talk about wanting to reboot Jake, and I think it would still work. I mean, even if you put it back on the air now, unedited and stuff, I think it would
Yeah.
still work. I mean, everything's available on Disney Plus, and you just turn
Yep.
it up, stick it on for the kids, do something else,
Off you
and
go. Yep.
it works. Off you go. Bob's
Yeah.
your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. So, um, I think it is a wonderful little show. And presuming the way you were talking before, I believe it was just solo when you did your voiceover work. You never really recorded ensemble.
Yeah, just that one time, and then every once in a while, if I was down in LA anyway, I would
Mm-hmm.
get to go in and have Kelly direct in person, which was awesome. But that helped me, being with him in person a couple of times really helped me understand him over the cans, like
Yeah.
he had the coolest instruction. Like I would get it. Like he would say, a lot of what I did for Sharky was falling down. Like, that kind of
Uh-huh.
stuff. Like, and
Yeah.
then Sharky gets pushed off a cliff, whatever. So I was doing this fall off a cliff thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I did a series of three, and Kelly came on, and this is just over the headphones. He's like, that was good. That was good, Lauren. Can you can you give it a little sawtooth? Make it a little bumpy. And that's all he said. And so I pictured a saw, and so then I was like, yeah, all the way down.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, that's what I was talking about. And I was like, great. Just give me a little visual image like that. And it's just the way it just made sense. Um, but yeah, I love playing Sharky. He got to do a couple episodes where he was like a martial arts master or something like that.
I only said Shagataki. I mean Tiger Sharky. Sorry,
Tiger
I'm just
Sharky.
okay,
Tiger
okay.
Sharky. Yeah, that's right.
Arr. I was watching the episode before, and then me just messing up the name right there. Yeah, yeah, I'm doing fine. Don't worry.
No, 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 you got it. You got it.
Okay,
I didn't.
okay.
I
Oof,
didn't.
okay. So were you aware of Kelly Ward's previous career? And I asked nearly everyone this, if whenever we talk about him, were you
Oh
aware
yeah.
of his previous career? He was
Yeah,
in
before,
the movie, he was in Grease, he
yeah.
worked for Hanna-Barbera, he'd done all this stuff. I just didn't know if you were aware of it or if you'd seen Grease and you think, that's Kelly Ward, same as you do if it was Corey Burton's voice in a film.
No, yeah, of course. So everyone told me who he was before I met him. Like, I had the whole rundown and then I would just keep it to myself
Oh my god,
until
it's
I got
Quincy
to
from
know
Grease.
everybody. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But you can tell as soon as he opens his mouth, this is somebody who's been around this for a while and he knows. So it was easy to trust him and I just really enjoyed it. I wish I had more opportunity to do it. Like it was so great. And again, I kind of lucked out. I've always done voice work in local Portland, like commercials and things like that
Yeah.
back in the day. And I always wanted to do, cartoon work and animation work. And and then I just kind of got to do it on the side with with the songwriting.
Yeah.
Um, and then it became, like you said, they say, "Oh, we need a starfish. What can you do with the singing starfish?" Boom, boom,
Little
boom.
Sandy the Starfish.
Yeah, Sandy the starfish. So then I kind of started getting these other characters. It was great. I got to play all these extra ancillary characters and like the wishing well and all that stuff.
And the policeman from the I think it's Battle for the Book. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Battle for the Book. I don't love that police. I wish I could do that again. I don't love it. But
Oh,
yes,
good.
well remembered.
Oh, thank you. So, what was I going to say? I was going to say something. Yes, when I met Kelly Ward, he did his first convention appearance about 3 years ago at Liverpool Comic Con, because they were doing a massive Grease reunion and stuff like that.
Oh,
And
cool.
because everyone was there, because he was in Greece and stuff. I think he was genuinely taken aback that I was only there purely for his voice direction, his voice acting, and his writing work. Like,
That's
I was
awesome.
like,
Yeah,
I've never seen Greece before. I just know you because you voiced Fighter in Challenge of the GoBots and you wrote a lot of stuff for Hanna-Barbera.
I love that. That's
Me
awesome. So,
too.
so tell me a little bit about. I know you're supposed to be interviewing me, but like, tell me a little bit about how you can cut this out if you want. Yeah, tell me a little bit about how you got involved and what kind of voice work you do now and all that.
Okay, well, I got into voiceover when I was, well, 15. Actually, it was a few months after I got into Jake and the Neverland Pirates. I was asked to do a favor of voice work for a friend who I knew who ran a coin-operated ride company, was the technical director for over 30 years at Northern Leisure Group. They went bust because of COVID and, financial loss and stuff. But he was like, look, we're making a new helicopter ride. I know you're obsessed with these coin operated rides. So I was wondering if you wanted to be the voice of this new helicopter. I was like,
Let me think about it. Yeah.
okay. 5 seconds later, yeah, sure, yeah, of course. So I recorded all the lines in my bedroom, sitting right here, literally nothing professional. I literally just used, I can't remember if I used Audacity or if no, I just did it on my phone, voice memos, voice
Yeah.
memos.
Right.
I just sent it to him. I was like, yeah, just do whatever you want. I did 5 takes of each line. Go ahead, just do it. And then they did it. They've unveiled it at the trade show in January 2020 in London. And I went up to it and just hearing my voice come out of this ride, and I'm thinking, this is insane. Is this what voiceover feels like? Of course, you saw my profile picture before. That's me on a coin operated ride when I was not even one, or I probably was one. I don't know. But just I then grew obsessed with these rides. You know, with autism, you get hyperfixations, and kiddie rides happen to be one of them, along with Jake and the Neverland Pirates and voice acting. As you said before, Wayback Machine, Peabody and Sherman, Rocky and Bullwinkle. I made a 2 hour long documentary on Bill Scott, the voice of Peabody and Bullwinkle and Dudley Do Right.
Wow.
That I interviewed Corey for actually.
You got a book going, right? You're writing a book,
I
right?
do. Yes, I am in the
Good.
middle of the transcript, the
Good.
manuscript. It's on a good few pages now. I think it'll be out this summer. I'm more or
Oh, great.
less sort of waiting because I'm taking the physical, like printing out basically everything and taking it to Bill Scott's son. Basically, I like to run everything by him just to make sure, can I use this photo or is this statement correct or anything like that.
Yeah.
I actually do want to show you something real quickly.
Okay.
Bill's son actually gave me two of his dad's cells. One of them, none of them are Peabody and Sherman cells, but you'll like them, I think. The Bullwinkle one is up there.
Oh,
You
sweet.
can't really see. You
I
can't
can
really
see it.
see. I'll have to try
I
and
can kind of see it.
that.
Yeah.
That's that McDonald
Yeah,
Land.
what is it?
McDonald Land.
Ah,
I
great.
got it. I got it from there's a place in Burbank called Blast from the Past, and they do like sometimes they will have animation cells in. That's literally just a Cerecell piece of art. It wasn't used for any commercial or anything like that. This is from San Diego Comic Con. It's a Nibbler sketch that Matt Groening did for me. He was on his Futurama panel.
Very
If we
cool.
turn it a little bit more, you can't really see, but that's a Quisp Quake. Quisp,
Oh,
Quisp Quake the
oh
cereal.
yeah, Crispy. Yeah, uh-huh. The little
That
pink
was
guy
given
with.
to me by Bill Scott's wife's goddaughter.
Oh, cool.
Second, Dudley Do Right and Horse up there.
Okay, cool.
There we go. And so, obviously with the company Northern Leisure going bust, I was like, look, I'm not going to be able to do more of this helicopter. There's only going to be like two in the country and they're not going to be produced. And then auditioned for what was going to be a theme park ride, Kooky Trails. It's now going to be a sort of multimedia verse with different sort of animations. It's been turned into an indie series basically because
Okay.
there's been a lot of backstory on the pre-production. I've voiced multiple characters in that. And then I've done a few other things, online projects and stuff. Then I went to San Diego last summer. I was
Mhm.
on a Cartoon Voices panel.
Oh,
Mark
cool.
Everiddy's Cartoon Voices panel, with a lot of these people. I don't think any of them were. No, none of them were on Jake. That's a shame. I wish one of them was on Jake and the Neverland Pirates. That would have been someone to bring up. But there was an agent in the audience who happened to be watching at CESD, expressed interest, and now I'm sort of, freelancing with them.
Good for you. That's great.
Thank you. And then once or twice every year now I've started traveling down up to Los Angeles from the UK,
Mhm.
mainly for convention reasons. I usually go for the Transformers convention in Burbank, which is actually where I'm seeing Jeff Bennett next month.
Oh, cool.
So I'm so excited. I've admired Jeff for a long time. So
Yeah. Jeff can do anything.
yeah,
It's
I'll
insane.
tell him you said hi. I will
Okay,
do.
please do.
I
Yeah,
will do.
he was great. I mean, they could have been, who's this kid? What does he think? What is, this so the songwriter is doing voices for the show. They weren't like that. They were very welcoming and it was awesome. I was so scared, but they were great. Yeah.
That's wonderful to hear. And one other cast member I've got to mention, probably the most prolific in my eyes, Cameron Boyce, the second voice for Jake. Did
Yeah.
you ever get to meet him?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Did
we
you?
directed a few songs with him in the studio, went down there.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I remember he was so funny too. Like between takes, like Jake is not super funny, right? He's just like, come on, guys. And then it would be like, great, we got that one. And he's like, okay, cool. Well, then he would loosen up and he would dance and stuff. It was so funny. Um, yeah, he was a delight to work with. And he could sing, which was great because not everyone can. So
Yeah.
it was, yeah, it was. Yeah, he was great. He was.
Yeah, I do remember talking about him with I think yeah, it was Corey. I literally still have all my texts just just like I'm looking at all of these like on my phone. He was like, yeah, because I did mention, yeah, thanks to our wonderful director Kelly Ward. He was in the original movie Grease, among other credits from his younger days, who insisted recording Hook and Smee set pieces as actual dialogue, and he just sent me so much trivia from the show. When I heard about Cameron's passing, I mentioned how sad that a bright young talent like that was gone so suddenly, and he
Yeah.
reminded me, oh my god, yeah, he was our longest running Jake. That's why the name sounded familiar, as I had indeed met him at the studio when our sessions switched over. He was a dear, lovely, bright, and very talented kid. So sad.
Right is perfect because he was sharp. You could see it behind his eyes, but he
Mm-hmm.
was also like kind of lit. He was not
Yeah,
lit. You know what I mean? He was just like he was shiny, those
yeah,
people are just like they have something, they're tapping into something special. And yeah, he
yeah.
he was yeah.
Yeah, because I think it was like early July 2019 I got into Jake, and he passed away literally around the same time I sort of got into the show, and I was like, wow, I can't even remember if I was already into it or if it was like, a few days after or before. But yeah, it was sort of around the time I did get into Jake, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. Because I did watch the show a little bit growing up. I do remember seeing it a few times. And like, you know me. I look, I don't understand this, but now I'm older, I understand this is a work of art. I absolutely love this. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I watched an hour-long video of Jake and the Neverland Pirates lore today. That
What?
this
They have
this
those?
this girl called Athena P on YouTube makes them. She did an hour-long video on Jake and the Neverland Pirates lore, and she spoke about, Sharky and Bones' origin story, and just yeah, it made me laugh
Oh
quite a
wow,
bit.
that's so cool.
I have to send along to you, but yeah, honestly, I've got to say, you've done so much. I mean, there's so many guest stars on Jake that I'm not sure if you've met any, but who's been your favorite sort of, if you didn't work with them, star alongside? Who was a
Well,
pleasure to
again,
be
I got to write songs for all these people. So
with?
uh, sometimes I would just have to I would just have to satisfy myself with the fact that they had to listen to my voice to learn their song, because I would do the voice for the demo and then we would send it down and then, oh, you were the guy that did the voice. So, let's see who all, oh man, you got me because I'm crummy with names, even famous ones. Pause for a sec. Let's see. Well,
Wait a minute, don't even blink.
I can't think. I can't think of. I all I can think of right now is when I directed John Stamos the other day. That was
Oh,
that was
wow.
for
I'm presuming that was one of the Mickey Mouse things because he's
yeah, it's
just been
Mickey
announced
Mouse.
doing that. Yeah.
He plays the pirate that's
The pirate, yeah,
oh yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That's
Um,
awesome.
he's very funny too. And not at all like Uncle Jesse. He's more like this. I'll do the jokes, Lauren. I'll do the jokes. So, um, but God bless it. So Mel Brooks had a comedy partner, and his name was Carl.
Oh, Reiner.
Carl. Thank you. So Mel Brooks was they were trying to get him to be on the show as this ghost character on Jake. And so it was like one of the hardest I've ever worked on a song. Like I want I want Mel Brooks to he knows how to write a funny song. I wanted
Oh,
to
yeah.
impress him. I wanted him to be in the show, all that. And then it turned because he had called and said I was interested in being on the show. And
Mm-hmm.
then his schedule got busy or whatever, and he passed it off to Carl Reiner. So suddenly it was Carl Reiner playing this character, and he doesn't really like to sing. And uh apparently because he was great and he was awesome as the ghost character. But while he was singing, there was a lot of patter to the song. It was really da, 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 da. And he stopped the recording session. He's like, "You guys are trying to kill me," and everyone started laughing. And he's like, "I'm not kidding. I can't do this. You guys are trying to kill me." And then we're like, ha, ha, ha. Okay, maybe we'll. It was impossible to tell if he was kidding or not, but it was great. We tweaked the song a little bit and off you go. So that was pretty epic. But yeah, I can't remember anybody else off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
Carol
Who
Kane was a guest star in one of the episodes,
who
I
who was?
believe. Carol Kane.
Was she?
I believe so.
I don't. Oh, she was. She was a witch, but she didn't have a song,
Yes.
which was
Yeah, she was
ridiculous.
she was the sea witch. She didn't have a song.
No, I don't think there was a song for her.
Oh no. Oh yeah, she only appeared in 2 episodes. That probably is
Yeah.
why. Yeah. Whoops. Um.
You know what was cool though was doing the so when David Tennant was on as the genie,
Mm-hmm.
he got hired it came in as the what was it like the pirate genie or something like
Pip
that.
the Pirate Genie.
No, that's somebody else.
Oh no,
Pip
it
the
is. Yes. Oh
somebody else.
no, what am
I
I
know
talking?
there's a couple genies. They went kind of crazy with genie stuff for a while.
Who was Pip the Pirate Genie? Hold on, let me have a look. Let me have a look.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jerry
Yeah.
O'Connell. Jerry O'Connell was Pip.
Jerry O'Connell. Yeah. Didn't get to meet him, but yeah, he did a fine job.
Uh-huh.
No, but David Tennant is, kind of epic, and I got to play the little scorpion on his shoulder. So
He
that was
was Dread,
Dread.
I think. That was his name.
But he was a
Dread the Evil Genie.
Dread the Evil Genie. There we go. Yeah, so he had a little
And
scorpion on his shoulder, and I got to voice him. So that
yes, I see. Oh, and it's just Peter Law was the inspiration for his voice.
yes, I did. I tried to do kind of a half and half Peter Lorre kind of like.
Oh, Peter Law,
Why
yeah.
do you
Sorry.
despise me, Rick? Yeah. Um, so it's just one of those things. If I ever meet David Tennant, I'll be able to say, "Hey, I was the scorpion on your shoulder." But
I mean, still looking at sort of like the guest cast, and I'm just thinking, wow, just like so many people just on this show, and just wow, it's just I'm gobsmacked. You don't realize sort of the creative art that goes into a television show until you actually appreciate it.
no.
Because of sort of with all these guest stars and stuff like that. I mean, Terry Hatcher, Lois Lane from the New Adventures of Superman, Beatrice
Yeah.
LeBeak.
Beatrice LeBeek. Yes. Did she have a
Yeah,
song? She was very funny.
I'm not
Her
sure.
work was really funny.
And then you've got what's her name? Red Jessica's voice actress. She was the mom in Malcolm in the Middle.
Malcolm Middle Mom.
Yeah, Jane Kasmarek.
I'll look it up. Did you get it?
I think it's Jane Kasmarek. I think that's how you say her
Yes,
last
yes, yes,
name.
yes, 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 yes. You got it.
Yeah, I just know her as the one from Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah. I think
Because
I
I'm
think
constantly
that's
just seeing
everyone
Malcolm
does.
clips all
Yeah.
the time. Like, yeah, it's just like, and then you just see that sort of like hinted relationship between her and Captain Hook, and I'm just thinking, wow, whoa, okay, this is
Oh,
what we like. Okay. Oh,
did Corey tell you his Hans Conried story?
I think he did. Yes, I think like he was hired
Okay.
to do like Hans Conried was meant to do the voice of a. If this is the right story, he was meant to do the voice of a slideshow. He wasn't available, so they brought in Corey to do it. Is that the same one?
Yeah, no, this is more anecdotal. I don't think he'd mind me telling you this, but I've dined out on
Yeah,
this story.
go for it, go for it. I
So,
don't think he'd
so
be watching.
Hans Conried's one of my favorite voice actors,
Yeah,
mainly for Thorin in the Hobbit, the animated Hobbit, and
yeah.
for Captain Hook. And so Corey was telling stories with me one day, and he's like, "Yeah, yeah, I met Hans Conried," and I'll try to do it. I can't do it verbatim, but he said essentially that he had been brought in, and he was this young kid, like this hotshot kid that could do everyone's voice,
Mhm.
and Hans Conried was there on set or on studio, and one of the directors came over and said, "Hey, Hans, this is Corey. He can do your voice." And Hans looked at him and looked him up and down. And he said, "He can have it." He's just like, I can do your voice. You can have it. Just go away. You can have my voice. I just love it. It's weird.
Yeah,
Hans Conried.
definitely. I love it, but just wow, it just thinks about like I think yeah, it was him, Hans Conried, and Bill Scott. And they were all talking together at a CIFA event, and then Bill comes up to him, hugs Corey, and just says, and he does all of my voices too, behind my back, better than me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just hearing all these stories about Bill from Corey and just like all these other people. Which actually brings me to the question: are there any other voice actors who you're inspired by, who you class as favorites?
Well, yeah, I mean, Robert Newton wasn't a voice actor, but he played, my pirate obsession started when I was a kid with the book Treasure Island.
Treasure
And then
Island.
and then going to Disneyland and going on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. I
Yeah.
mean, that was just church for me. I mean, I just like it was amazing. that's so
Hmm.
immersive, and I just loved it. And that honestly, that was one of the inspirations for Captain Bog and Salty too, is like Kevin and I went on Pirates of the Caribbean and we were like, what if that guy had an amp and a guitar? What song would he play? Like how do we make these guys rockers, But anyway, God, I got lost in the Pirates of the Caribbean. We're
So what
talking
about
about
Treasure Island? Who's your voice acting
Robert
inspiration?
Newton. Sorry. Robert Newton
That's okay.
played he plays Long John Silver. And he kind of invented the pirate dialect that we all know, the R and all that stuff. That was him. He did that in that
Hmm.
show. And then he got really famous for it and he started playing pirates all the time. But yeah, um, Captain Bogg sounds a lot more like him than Sharky. Sharky, they tried to
Yeah.
make Sharky a lot happier and less of a scoundrel, which is perfect balance. But he's bubblier. But yeah, so I would say definitely Robert Newton. Um, Voice actors. I mean, I love Paul Frees, and I love all. I love Ludwig von Drake, Paul Frees. I love Corey's too, but man, you've listened to the World of Color
I
Ludwig album.
have, yes, Spectrum
It
Sound, I
is
believe it's
it is
called.
so off the hook. Like they
Yeah.
must have just said, just go. I don't think there's a script for that thing. He just go. If you like voiceovers, you should listen to that album. It just goes bonkers. Um,
Yeah.
and then he's somebody that pops up in movies all the time too, and like old trailers and stuff like that. That's Paul Frees. But I love the Ghost Host, of course. I love Corey's take on it. But the original, the music in that he finds with the words, where candlelights flicker, though the air is deathly still. Like these extra little these trills,
Yeah.
it's kind of like dynamics. He understood how to roll something. Uh,
Hmm.
so definitely Paul Frees.
Yeah.
Uh,
I was
I'm
gonna
just
say. Oh, sorry.
no, I'm just gonna say Paul Frees and Robert Newton right now. But even though Robert Newton's not a voice actor, but
That's okay.
you go.
Um, I know D. Bradley Baker obviously did most of the animal voices on Jake and the Neverland Pirates.
Yeah.
And then also you've got he didn't do any voices on the show, but he's on a similar level to him as in Animal Noises. Frank Welker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, someone who I've met, I'd say at least two, three times. Yeah, just all these wonderful people, and
Man,
just like, yeah, it's crazy. And
boiling in the
just,
dark, behind the
yeah,
screen in the booth.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And also Kelly Ward as well. He's done a bit of voiceover.
Yeah.
Yeah, but honestly, just like, wow, I feel like my head is just like, it's just like my head is just like I'm just in a white room right now. I'm just like I'm thinking, right, what do I do next? What do I do next? What do I ask next? I don't.
Oh,
So actually, here's a good question. Now
okay.
you can pass on this if you want, or if you don't
Okay.
want me to talk about it, you can just tell me to shut up. As someone, well, I'm autistic. I've got autism. You have ADHD. Um, as a person with ADHD, when did you find out you were sort of diagnosed? And if you were, do you realize, oh yeah, that explains such and such? Because I know me and Corey had a conversation about this. Like when you realize, oh yeah, that's when I realized that I was autistic or what autism meant to me.
hmm yeah. This is fresh. I was just diagnosed in September.
Oh wow,
Yeah, like
awesome.
I've gone my whole life, like why, with fixations and like I mean the only reason I was able to keep up with Jake is because I love pirates and I love pirate work and songs and I could hyperfixate and just get lost on, recording or mixing or
Yeah,
anything to do with the show. And so I'm very fortunate that I found a career that rewarded me for being so in my head, um, and just playing around with the pieces that I was given. But yeah, a lot of things are starting to make sense, and a lot of things, it's weird. It's a double. There's two sides to that coin. It's like, hey, that's great. Now I understand a whole bunch of things. Oh man, if only I had known. that would have been easier and that would have been better, and I could have
Hmm.
navigated that. So, I mean, you try not to spend any time or give too much to regret, but I don't know. It's just a lot to sort through, you know.
Yeah.
When did you get your diagnosis?
Very young actually. And it's very rare sort of when you're young, mainly because girls tend to mask autism more than boys. So boys are more likely to get diagnosed in their early years than girls. I was diagnosed at the age of 4.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And
But I mean,
I was gonna say I was only diagnosed because when I was in preschool, I was referred to a speech therapist because I kept pronouncing words wrong, and they were like, "Oh, put her in for autism. She's showing all the signs." Yeah.
well, that's
And then
I'm glad that they had that and they caught that and
they caught it early,
they caught it
I'm
early.
saved.
No, it gives you a roadmap,
Yeah.
that is helpful, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Explains all my high fixations, my love for kids shows, animation, voiceover. Like I mean, I was obsessed with a show that was targeted at the demographic of 5-year-olds when I was 15. It's just, and it was only really when I was becoming like a young teenager that I realized, oh, that's what it was. I always wondered, I'm watching kids shows, why are people making fun of me? Like, why can't I be like everyone else? And like, oh, it's the autism. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's sort
It's
of
just what I
everything
need. Yeah. Yep.
all made sense to me then. And I was
Yep.
like, okay. But yeah, it was very sort of, I'm glad that, as I said, they caught it early. So, it makes me happy. And if I were asked, would you cure your autism? I'd say no. I
Mhm.
don't want to change who I am. However,
Yeah. I don't think I wouldn't I same answer. I mean,
I was gonna say,
I think that it it I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about the calling it a superpower. Some people like to do that. I don't know about that. I think it gave me a unique perspective on the world,
yeah,
and
mm-hmm,
it gave me an attention to detail
yeah.
that did me well. It served me well.
I was gonna
So,
say,
yeah.
mm-hmm.
I- Go.
I was gonna say I absolutely love your energy when you perform at a Sharky, and I'm just looking back at performances of you at Sharky, and I'm just thinking, look, I have the exact same energy as you. I'm just like, wow, just like I, I just wow, it's just like he's just like me for real.
Kind of. Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah,
just,
except I'm not a pirate.
you just got to follow. You know what? Oh, here's a way to bring it back around. Bob's Ganaway, when we finally met him in person, he had moved on to another show or maybe a different division. Oh, yeah. He was working on the Tinkerbell movies. And so he wasn't going to work on Jake, but we really wanted to meet him because he got us in the door. If he hadn't looked us up and picked up our albums or whatever. And and then he said, "I'm so glad to meet you guys." This is the first thing he said. "I'm so glad to meet you guys, and I'm so glad that you followed your bliss." And it was like I had never heard that term before. I mean, I know people use it a lot, but because he's like, "I know that you love pirates, and I know that you made a pirate rock band for kids because that's what made you happy." And it did. That's why we did it. Boy, we used to be mercilessly made fun of. Are you kidding me? Like, no, there was no pirate stuff in 1997. Like, we're out dressed up like pirates, like someone hired us
Yeah.
to be at a gas station or something. Everyone's like, beep, beep, beep. But we did it because we loved it. And we kept following that and we were rewarded for it eventually. So
Mm-hmm.
it was nice to have somebody who was a gatekeeper say, the reason you're here is because you did what you wanted to do. So welcome. So that was pretty awesome.
And just be grateful they didn't ask Pirate Jenny instead.
Yeah,
Ooh,
that would have
yeah,
been
just have
a
to
different show. That
tone
would have
that
been a
down.
different show.
Tone that
Pirate Jenny's still
down.
Pirate Jenny's still going. They still have albums and stuff. They're great. They're awesome. But smaller scale now. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was just a different thing. Uh, there's a distinction. Rock
Yeah.
band pretending to be pirates, pirates
Yeah.
pretending to be a rock band.
Be a very rock band. I absolutely love that. That's just too adorable. Like my face hurts, physically hurts from smiling a lot. So, that's just literally I have never I'm being genuinely honest here. I've never smiled so much as I have done during this recording.
Oh, come on.
Seriously.
Can I show you one thing? Can I do one show and tell
Of course you
thing?
can. Of course.
Just for fun.
Yeah,
Just for
of
fun.
course. Go for it. Go for it. Go for it. Oh my gosh, I wonder what this is gonna be. I'm so excited. Gotta show that as well. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay.
This is my.
Oh my gosh. It's the boy.
It's a Fisher Price made this.
Uh-huh.
They made one for me. This is the only one. They made one for me, and they made a Bones for Kevin, and they sent
Wow.
it to us. And I have all the Jake toys, of course. I'm
That's
kind of a collector.
awesome.
It's in another room though, but yeah, I love this.
What
This is my Oscar right here. This
what would you distinguish it as? An action figure, a sculpture, a trophy?
uh, yeah, I, if I had to pick, I'd say it's a trophy because it's got a whole deck railing and a little mounting that he sticks on,
I
and
see.
yeah, he's not an
Mm-hmm.
action figure. He's really heavy too. So
Ooh.
yeah, but yeah, I thought that would be fun to see.
Fisher Price, my first trophy.
What's that?
Fisher Price, my first trophy.
Fisher Price wifer. Yes, exactly. Exactly.
I love that. Oh my gosh. Because I'm just wow. Wow. I did Fisher Price make all of the Jake toys, or did they have the license for it, or
I don't know if they did all of them. They did a bunch of them, but yeah,
Mhm.
I don't have any more Jake stuff in here. But they did all the, I think they did all the ships, which are great, and the little, no one's really posable. They're just kind of, boppers like,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I only have the DVDs. I didn't have a chance to get any of the toys. I mean, I didn't really see them a lot anywhere. Just, I mean, I didn't even think they did. I didn't. Did they even do a Sharky Bones? I don't think they did. I don't think they did actually.
Toys?
Did they?
They no, they
Yeah.
had figures. They were
Oh, did they?
rare. I could
Oh
run
dear.
get one and show you, but little guys. One of them, for some unknown reason, Sharky is holding a toilet plunger. It just, I was like, what? When? Oh yes, the Sharky episode when he plunges the what? I don't get it, but yeah, there were a couple. There were a couple.
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, just I am just in awe of what your career has been, and especially because you're still doing it. Would you maybe consider returning as a voice actor on any of the shows that you're
You
working
know,
as a composer on? No?
in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Yeah, I
Oh,
would
all
love.
right, in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just it's if you kind of have to be in it to be in it, and I'm in Portland, and it's and then I was just too busy to do you know with all the other production stuff to I haven't done voiceover for any other studio. I haven't auditioned for other stuff. I
Mhm.
mean, the only other work that I did was for DreamWorks for Trollstopia, and I just came in to co-write that with two other songwriters, but.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm just a Disney boy, and it just worked out. But I would love to go back. Um, I had a show that I had in that they optioned from me for a while, and I was really hoping that it would take off, and then I would get to be the voice of the main character, and uh, didn't didn't happen, but that's okay. Yeah, I would love to. Uh, I've heard people say, "Be ready, they're gonna reboot Jake," and I'm like, I don't know about that.
I
It
believe I
would
want to
need,
see it.
it would need a bit of an overhaul, but how about
Yeah.
Sharky's Pirate School? Let's do that one. Let's
Yes,
do
you
that one.
just spin off an origin story of how Sharky met Bones, maybe
Yeah, sure. Uh,
before the show or something like that.
it's dark. It's dark. It's gritty.
Oh yeah,
Um,
it's going on Disney Plus.
Hulu
um,
and then Disney. Yeah. Uh,
yeah, yeah.
but again, Jake, I just was really fortunate. Just fell into it at the right. We were doing the thing that they wanted at the right time, and everybody involved with that show cared about it and tried to make something special and tried not to. talk down to kids, to try and,
Mhm.
and our music is always meant to be fun first and foremost. And over the years, got a chance to talk to a lot of families and kids that grew up listening to the music, and it was like, that's it. That's all I need. That's amazing. So,
Definitely, definitely. Well, before we wrap up, I'd like to bring up two topics that we've not yet talked about.
okay.
The first one is, of course, Sly 3 Honor Among Thieves, where you voiced the Black Baron. I've got to ask, how did you get involved in that? Because I believe that wasn't a Disney production. That was, of course, I'm literally looking right now. It was Sucker Punch Productions, Sony PlayStation, Sony Computer Entertainment.
Um,
How did that happen?
you're talking about 20 minutes of my life decades ago. Like I always forget that I did that. Like I was an actor in Portland, and I, like I said, I did lots of commercials and I did sketch comedy, and
Mhm.
people would know that I could do character voice work. And there was an audition for a video game up in Seattle, and I just did my, the British
Yeah. Hmm.
Colonel Hoffy, essentially.
Yeah.
And and I got booked to play the Black Baron, and I never played the game before. I mean, I'm a sad
Played Sly Cooper.
representative from that world because I didn't know anything about it. I
I
went
mean,
up
I haven't
there.
either, so
What's that?
I mean, I've never played Sly Cooper either,
Yeah,
so
I
you're
don't know.
not the only one, don't worry.
I don't know. But I went up to Seattle. It drove 3 hours up to Seattle, spent 20 minutes in the booth, and drove home and cashed the check.
Another day
But
in
it was
life.
yeah, but it was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And the final thing I want to bring up is it was released on YouTube. I think it was a few months ago. The Jake's Team Pirate pilot, the full 10-minute episode. And I believe it was then turned into an existing episode of the show. I can't remember which one. I really can't remember which one. But
Four
um,
seasons. I can't there. I mean, there's so many.
you're making me want to look this up now. So it says, yeah, it was uploaded, I'd say nearly a year ago, actually, which I didn't even realize. It says, it is a low budget pre production test version of the show with a premise similar to that of the season one episode, The Race to Never Peak.
Okay.
So the only differences in this are Izzy is called Reddy. There's an additional kid pirate called Nibs, and Scully has a different voice, which you provided the voice. I'm not sure if it was a scratch track or something. And
It was
also,
Scratch. Yeah, it was Scratch.
what they got David Arquette in. And then, well, Bucky, he spoke.
Yeah. I was so excited about that. Like that was like, what? I get to be the boat? Like, but it didn't test. It tested too young. At the time, they were trying to make it appeal to a little older kids because it was the first song. It was the first show of the new Disney Junior brand, and they were trying to put something out there that was right down the middle. So young kids and older kids, big sisters, big brothers, everyone would watch it.
Yeah.
And they thought the talking boat thing made aged it down a little bit. So, I was not crushed, but I was a little bummed, but because I still got to do so much on the show. But that's amazing that's up online. I did that, by the way, I did not upload that.
No, you didn't. You didn't. I can confirm. It's not. It's
Okay.
the account is
Okay.
not in your name.
I have it somewhere, but yeah,
Ooh.
I remember about a year ago, that's right. About a year ago, someone was like, "Hey, do you have the pilot? Hey, is it true it was called?" And I was like, I can't, I'm not going to get in trouble. Thank you. So yeah,
I
that's
think
cool.
it
I have to go watch it.
I think it was during a purge where a lot of things did get leaked from Disney television
Oh,
animation.
during that purge. Okay.
I
Yeah, yeah,
think it
yeah.
might have been. I don't know, but it does seem to have fallen around the time where a lot of things did get uploaded to Twitter, like leaked storyboards and pitch pilots and stuff like that. But yeah, honestly, just I've completely forgot what I was going to say now.
Okay. All right.
Hold on, let's try and come on. I had someone in the back of my head. Yes, okay, I've just remembered it. My final question to you, the big question is, did the character of Sharky exist? when you were approached for the show, or was Sharky merely designed after you? Because I feel as if you and the character, and of course Kevin and Bones, just share a lot with each other. Even the
Yeah.
designs,
Oh
even the
yeah.
designs.
They 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 created those characters based on us. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, which was that that's
Wow.
why I was okay with not being the pirate ship. I still got, Um I never saw the initial designs, but apparently the initial designs, Nancy Cantor, uh who's the head of Disney, well, she's the one that crafted Disney Junior out of the ashes of Playhouse Disney.
Yeah.
Um she she they designed, and the first version of Sharky apparently was grotesque, like just this grumpy old man. And she's like, Lauren's gonna hate that, do it again. And but she told me that later, and she's like, yeah, that was, we did you wrong, and you'll like this guy. And yeah, I do, I love Sharky both. I got to see their puppets, they have the
Oh
live
yeah, they
action.
did for the Disney Junior Live on stage.
Yeah,
Yes.
and in Florida, I got to go and hang out with the puppet actors and take pictures and play with the
Oh, that's
puppets, and it was so
awesome.
cool. Yeah, so cool.
Oh, what did you say Sharky's pilot name was called again, or original name?
Stubble.
Stubble. I always thought it was like, why did I think it was like Skunder or something? It was
It
Stubble.
was
Okay,
like
so
it was
Stubble and Plank.
stubble and plank, and
Hmm.
but apparently it was too close to two characters in the Tinkerbell movies. There's two fairies. There's that are,
One of them, I know one of
and
them's a Bobble, I think, because that was Rob Paulson.
yeah,
Who was the other one?
is it Jeff Bennett?
Tinkerbell. It could be. It could be. I
Yeah,
know there's the Bobble and Clank.
that was it. Bobble and clank, and stubble
Yeah,
and plank was too close to it. So
yeah, it was Chef Bennett. Yeah, well, I mean, with that being said, then you got to think about Ratchet and Clank, but then that's a completely different thing, That's another
right.
Sony PlayStation thing. But yeah, I do apologize. My clipboard just fell forward. I think it also fell forward the fact that I was looking at I'm on the Wikipedia page for like Disney fairies, and I'm looking. Oh yeah, there's a Jeff Bennett article, and I look at the picture. That's not even Jeff Bennett. That's a
Uh,
completely different guy. So
well,
I'm like, wow, okay,
you
I've
got to
got
fix
it.
that. You'll
I
fix
gotta
that,
fix
man.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
indeed. Yeah. I'm still looking at your website now, and the haunted house host. Of course, we talked about that, and I was thinking, I was literally saying to myself, he's got to have talked about the haunted mansion with Corey. And I'm just seeing all these things on your website, and I'm just thinking, wow, you have the resume ever.
Yeah,
The
I
resume.
got to I got to play. I got to play for a decade. It was
You still
awesome. It
are.
is awesome. Yeah.
And you still are. And I'm not sure. Forgive me if this is true or not. I believe. Do you have any children, Lauren?
Yes. I have
Do you?
I have one daughter. She's 14 now.
Mm-hmm.
Just got into high school, but yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah, Hazel May, shout out Hazel May, Sunshine. What's up?
Hi Hazel.
Um, she used to sit on my lap and write and help me write the songs for the show. And like I would like, hey, Hazel, come here. And she would toddle in, and I would play things for her. And if she danced, I was like, okay, good, we're on the right track. But if she didn't, I was like, maybe we can let's okay, let's try something else.
Let's try again.
And I have sessions of like early songs and shows for the early episodes of the show
Mhm.
where she's doing the vocals. Like she would just sit on my lap and I'd pull the mic over and just say, "All right, you do these," and okay, go. And yeah, they're so funny. They're precious to me and very
Aww.
illegal. But
I was gonna say, if you did
yeah,
have
yeah,
into it, of course you've got Hazel. Growing up, did that was literally gonna be my question. Did Hazel growing up watching the show? But
you
you've
did.
literally just answered my question. So that is
Yep.
just so awesome.
We used to march. We lived in a little house that when we first started the show, and it was
Mhm.
like if you opened all the doors, you could walk in a perfect circle through the house.
Ooh.
And she would open up all the doors and and she would make us march and do the yo ho mateys away. And she's like, I got my pixie dust. Let's go. And
That's so
we would all march in a circle. It was awesome. Yeah, so much fun.
That's wholesome. I presume. I mean, having Sharky as your dad, nothing better. Like, I
Uh,
presume, obviously, you probably used the voice on her a few times, or maybe all the time. I don't know. Just
yeah, it just wasn't a big deal to her. Like, I think when she was in kindergarten, the her teacher asked me to come in and speak and bring clips from the show or whatever. And a lot of the
Mhm.
kids just confused. And when you're in kindergarten, especially back then, I think it's like he does the voice of a cartoon. They're like, "What? I don't separate those things. What are you talking about?"
Mhm.
So Hazel just grew up with her dad on TV. I hope it's okay that I said her name a bunch of times. I'm sure it is. But she grew up
Honestly,
with.
just ask her. If it's not fine, I can cut it out. Speaking of
Okay,
which, I'm
cool,
going to
cool.
cut this bit out here. There we go. There we go.
Um,
Yeah.
um, yeah, it was awesome. And that wasn't lost on me. I was very grateful at the time to have a job that my kid could hang out and help me with, and she liked it. Like I don't think a lot of people get to do that. And it
No.
was she would come to studio sessions dressed in little bee costumes and stuff and dance while we were recording drums and yeah, it was so cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so sweet. Did she ever get to come to LA with you, or was she just, only in
Yep.
Oregon?
Yeah, we
Did
went
she meet any
to
of the other cast?
no, but she did go. We went to when they first put it was like Disney Junior live on stage, and
Yes.
when they first mounted it, we got special passes to go and to the show. She couldn't care about the show, couldn't care less. But the after party, Minnie Mouse was there, and she would dance with Minnie Mouse. She spent like 2 hours dancing with Minnie Mouse. So
Oh, bless her.
that was her big meet and greet.
That's so wholesome. I love that. That is such a wholesome way to end the interview. And also, I'm looking at you, yes, audience. A special shout out to Kevin Hendrickson if you're watching this. It would have been.
Yes.
I'd love to have you and Kevin on to do maybe a double episode in the future. Maybe I don't
Okay.
know.
Sure.
I couldn't find a contact to reach him, so I was just like, I'll
Oh,
go with Lauren for now.
I'll send you that if you like.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you so much. Well, this has been a conversation. This has been my face hurts from smiling. This is probably one of the best interviews I have ever done for my show.
Stop it some more. Stop it.
Come on, I'm nearly 21 and I am fangirling over a preschool show. There's nothing better. I love it. But honestly, Lauren, thank you so much for your hospitality and for accompanying me on this trip down memory lane and for talking about everything that we can throw at each other. And
Well,
I
thank you.
appreciate
I
it so
thank you,
much.
Amber, for reaching out. It's fun to remember all this stuff. I'm proud of it. I had a blast, and I've forgotten half of it, so it's it's good to talk about it. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. To you at home, thank you so much for watching this episode of In Conversation with ATF with the lovely Loren Hoskins. Maybe in the future there will be a joint episode with Kevin Hendrickson joining as a guest. You never know. Could keep a watch out for that later in 2025. But with that being said, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And if you like Jake and the Neverland Pirates, I mean, feel free to send this to Athena P. Go watch her lore video on Jake and the Neverland Pirates. She put so much work into it. It's about an hour and 20 minutes. She watched the whole show, did an analysis of the show, just talking about the franchise. It's cool. But yeah,
Can't wait. I'm gonna watch that today. I'm gonna
I'll
watch
send
it.
I'll send you a link. I'll send you a link and let me know what you think of it, Lauren. Okay.
Okay.
To at home, thank you so much for watching. And we'll see. Oh yeah, I'm Sharky. Oh
Goodbye. Well, sorry.
no, it's fine. And I was gonna ask, could you do Sandy's voice real quick?
Sandy's voice? Okay. Okay, Junior. Let's do it one more time. Baba boo. Yeah. I
Oh
love
my god.
Sandy. Sandy was so much fun. I loved Sandy.
I know. I'm just. Wow, I'm gobsmacked. I don't even know what to say anymore, so I'm just gonna flip my clipboard and say, cut.